we first arrived in New York, I was really surprised to see the squalor in the streets. There was refuse everywhere.
Came from Dublin, in Ireland, and came over on the coffin ships due to the famine, potato famine. And came with my dad and my little brother. They didn't make it, so New York on my own.
Yes, you could see vagabonds, vagrants, immigrants. Really was a sight to be seen.
It's filled with piss and shit, man, you know.
When we first arrived in New York, I was terribly surprised to see the squalor in the streets. The mire was ankle deep. The streets were barely passable. There were pigs sort of rotting around in the rubbish, trying to find stuff to feast on. True American tradition.
As my husband says, the mire was quite literally ankle deep. My hems were at least 4 inches thick in mud.
Living conditions. Filthy.
But as you move north, I think it does start to feel more civilized. The streets widen, the houses broaden, and you are actually looking at quite a nice, respectable sort of area.
You could almost be in London.
Living with 2 Irish families, 10 Chinese families in the one bloody room, you know what I mean? Covered in grime and dirt. Disgusting. Have to shit in the corner of the room beside the Chinaman. You think that's funny? It's not funny.
We remarked how, unlike London, there were not the space for villas and sprawling suburbs, were there, darling?
There are some delightful houses, though. They're very uniform, but that uniformity has a certain charm in itself. The magnificence of the private dwellings in New York must not escape mention.
Not all, man. Not on the 5 points. You know? Yeah, you're one of those posh people, aren't you?
Some people say, darling, they wonder if New York has an active police force. Now, this is a valid point. Many an occasion we felt quite threatened and quite vulnerable.
And I believe the police feel the same way.
Police are scum. Scum. They don't give a shit about us.
But really, it's quite frightening.
To be part of a gang, because if you're not, then you know you'll just get left for dead. You know, we all look after each other. I'm part of the Bowery Boys. We also pickpocket here and there. You have to, you know. You could be my best friend, I'll still rob your watch. It's purely business survival. No, I chose not to be part of them scumbags. I saw them leaving old granny burned to death one night.
Really?
Because they were carrying a piano out of the house. That's all they cared about, you know. A granny, 70 years old, burning to death, flesh falling off. Disgusting, man. I could smell her 2 blocks away.
This is the new world, I suppose. But, it can be quite shocking at times.
Yeah.
You see signs on the doors of any publican house. It says no blacks, no dogs, no Irish. That's all from the native side.
I was surprised by the number of Irish immigrants. They're quite literally flooding off the boats each day. You can barely walk without seeing several dozen squalid, dirty-looking children with red hair. It's quite filthy.
More Irish than rats.
It's true.
Yeah. So there's nothing really else to do but, you know, drink and fight and rob and fuck birds. And yeah, well, there's some fellas that like to fuck fellas as well. Don't ask me about those.
And really, there are no real dinner parties. Evenings are mainly for the gentlemen, because you just can't find the domestic help.
The only dinner parties there are, they tend to be male-only events.
What I said.
Keep the women away.
Darling, I said that. Darling, I did.
Darling.
A few partisans, you know, a The French ones, they're the filthiest, you know, riddled with disease. Fucking, you know, you rip off the old corset. Wouldn't be surprised if a few blue bottles flew out, you know, a few flies and fleas and fucking nits and shit, you know. I've had nits 3 times, had to get my hair fucking lopped off, you know. Those girls, man, nothing filthier, nothing filthier. And you get the odd one you think is a girl, turns out to be a bloke. Bet the fuck out, prick.
You really, as I was saying, you really can't find the staff to help you. The domestic supply, mostly Irish. They're just not quite what one is after. They can't cope in a crisis, and that is necessary when you're entertaining large parties and having several courses, as one would like to. The conspicuously extravagant attire of the female New Yorkers continues to symbolise the commercial affluence of the city.
Yeah, I am Catholic, yeah. Yeah, I do pray. Pray for me sins. All that robbing and stealing and fighting I do, you know, but it's left with no choice, man. As they say, all's fair in love and war, you know.
Oh no, I was sort of slurring my words now. Oh God,
we haven't lost a port. The murder was excellent this evening, you cannot deny that.
Yeah. It's got its ups and its downs, but really it's fucking hell, man, but you know, can't go back to the homeland, but that's the way it is.
Darling, caught a carriage.